Do you want to see a funny, heartwarming movie that's good for the entire family? Then you should go see Sheep Detectives. What's up, guys? My name's Hayden Murphy, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing The Sheep Detectives. Now, I will say this kind of movie doesn't necessarily get released theatrically as much anymore. A lot of the times, movies like this have been recently relegated to streaming services, and that's great. That's fun. We can have those type of movies and enjoy them at home. But it was kind of refreshing to have this type of family movie released on the big screen, where it could be a memorable event that we'll always remember from this Mother's Day weekend. So me, my wife, my son, we all went out and saw this movie, and we had a really great time. This movie is probably the best family movie I've seen in a long time. The last one being maybe the If movie with John Krasinski standing for Imaginary Friend. And that movie was still good. This movie's better than that movie, I would say. This movie is just... The marketing of this movie, I don't think, did this film any justice. Because you look at the marketing of this movie, and it seems like it's just way more geared towards children, and it's just going to be watered down. And it's like, okay, you have this murder mystery, right, where these sheep are read to every night by their shepherd, and he reads them murder mysteries. And then all of a sudden one day he ends up dead, and the sheep suspect that he's been murdered. So the sheep find it in their own willpower that to try and uncover this murder mystery. And they get into shenanigans and all that, but they're following a lot of the tropes of the murder mystery books that they get read to by their shepherd. And you would think that this movie is just really, watered down and easy and for the kids, and that the murder mystery would not be, that hard to solve and everything. And I'm glad to say that it wasn't that. Not that this murder mystery is like the greatest murder mystery I've ever seen, but none of us were able to guess, who done it by the end of the movie. Now, I had suspicions towards a couple, but I didn't quite piece it all together. And the way it all pieced together in the end was really fantastic. It was great. Besides the murder mystery part of it, though, that's a fun part of the movie. But what makes this movie elevated above just a regular murder mystery is that it's just a great movie all on its own. Its own story that it's telling stands alone apart from the murder mystery. So it reminds me of the Knives Out series. If any of you guys have seen Rian Johnson's Knives Out movies, I love them. The first one, especially, stands out because not only is it a great murder mystery, right? A lot of times murder mystery movies, once you find out who done it, you're kind of like, okay, I don't really need to watch this movie ever again because now I already know who committed the crime, and it's not going to be as fun watching it again. It never fails to have fun watching those movies because of the character work, the great moments, and the plot of that movie is just a great story that surpasses the murder mystery tropes.
Enter Benoit Blanc.
That's what happened in this movie as well. Not only does it play into the murder mystery tropes, and, feed into that, but it elevates it in the sense that even if you took all the murder mystery stuff out of this movie, you would be left with a great story, a heartwarming story. This movie is more emotional than I anticipated it would be. There were one moment in particular where I almost started to tear up. Not saying that this is going to make everyone tear up, because it's not, but just the message, the core message of this movie, that you discover as you go through this movie is so great. And also the themes of the movie, right? It doesn't pander to children. We have too many movies that treat kids like they're not able to grasp higher concepts or deeper concepts, So like you can have the Super Mario Galaxy movie come out and just be dumb fun. But they don't hold the hands of kids, and it makes it enjoyable not just for the kids, but for the parents as well, because what they do is they touch on subjects like death, right? Like this whole movie is dealing with death and grief, and how do we handle those things when it comes up in our life? Because for so many of us, death seems like a far off thing that we just don't have to think about or even touch or anything. But when it comes knocking at your door and it affects the people that you love, then it's like, how do you cope with that? And it touches with the like different coping mechanisms of like, do you just try to forget it and move on? Or, how do you confront not just the mortality of others, but your own mortality as well. And the message that they touch on that was so great, and they didn't water it down, but they made it a nice little wrapped up package that was understandable and enjoyable for kids too. And it wasn't too harsh, not too difficult. Just because it deals with those subject matter does not mean that you shouldn't take your kid to go see this movie. This movie is fun and engaging the entire time, but it also has those great emotional moments. The backstories, they go deeper into some of these backstories of some of these characters than I never ever thought they would. You just see talking sheep, and you just think, oh, this is going to be some dumb movie. And like with the marketing too, I think even like what I use as the thumbnail in this movie or in this video, they don't really highlight Hugh Jackman as much. I think if they maybe would have put Hugh Jackman's face on more of the posters, maybe you would have gotten more people to come out to the movie. But regardless of that, the voice acting, we were watching the movie, me and my wife both, and the moment certain characters start talking, my wife's like, oh, that's that actor. I think they have like the guy who plays Roy Kent from why am I blanking on the show? Oh my gosh, the soccer show. It's gonna come to me. I'll have to put it in the post. It's like one of my favorite shows. Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso. It's Ted Lasso. Thank you. Okay. I'm trying to sit there and think, and I'm like, what was it? Ted Lasso, one of my favorite shows ever. But they had, the guy who played him. The main character, if you could say that, for the sheep is Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Then you have Patrick Stewart in there. And one of my favorite characters, they had the guy, he was in the Butterfly Show on Apple TV Plus. I'll have to put his name and picture up on the screen because I really don't remember. But they had the best character stories, right? They had Julia Louis-Dreyfus, but they also had Bryan Cranston, and his character arc was really, really great. I loved that as well. But the murder mystery itself, they have enough red herrings in there and a good enough time to where, it is, you are trying to figure it out. You're trying to be like, oh, I wonder what happened here. And when you think because there were several times in this movie where you think, oh, okay, I can understand, where this is going now. I think I know who did it. It doesn't happen. It kind of turns. Not like this is the greatest like plot twist murder mystery or anything, but they do it a good enough job to where it's not too complicated for the kids, but it's also engaging enough for the adults where the adults can have fun get the guessing game of who did it. If I could sum up like the overall message or theme of the movie, it sounds cliche to say it, but it really is kind of family.
I don't have friends. I got family.
Like that's kind of what the core message of the movie is, but also just like, not judging people on appearances or, pushing people away just because of their past or other things like that. And I think the movie will allow more dialogue with the family, to say, oh, wow, like, not just on the murder mystery level of like, oh, I didn't see that happen or this happening, but it also, you're like, man, like, what about this character's backstory or this character's backstory, and it touches on deeper messages that I think each family could weave into the conversation as they are discussing this with their children. I'm not going to say this movie is for everyone, but I will say it can be enjoyed by everyone. Like, I don't expect, a lot of 20-something single people to go and watch this movie on their own. It's targeted towards family, but 20-something single people can enjoy this movie as well. Don't rule this one out. I don't want to act like I'm begging you guys, but like if I had to say, like, between any movie I've reviewed in the last several weeks, between Michael, Mortal Kombat 2, and this one, I would like implore you to go and watch this one, because we know we're going to get movies like Michael and like Mortal Kombat 2 again, like at some point in different variations or forms. This movie kind of stands alone in the sense that we don't get these types of movies as much in theaters. And I want this movie to do well successfully, and I'm worried it's not going to, and it's not like it's my responsibility whether it does or not, But I would just implore, if there's a movie for you to pick to go see either this weekend or the next couple weekends, go see whatever you want. But I would say this movie is worth your time. This movie is what some of the best stories do, that not just entertain you, but make you feel something as well and get a message from it. It was such a good time to experience it with my family. I'm going to remember this movie. I don't know if I'm going to watch it again in theaters, but I definitely am going to be looking out for it when it comes out on streaming, because I want to show this movie to a lot of people and experience it with them and see how they experience it. Because I guarantee you there's going to be a lot of, people getting hit right here in the feels, in the heart. I mean, it's a really great time. And it's one of the mystery movies that I will put on my, rewatchable list. Same like with Knives Out and all that. But that's all I have to really say. If you guys do get a chance to watch this, please let me know what you thought of it, because I love this movie, and it'd be great to share out your guys' thoughts and feelings of how it made you feel and your experience with the film. But go ahead and do me a favor, drop me a like, and go ahead and subscribe, because I have plenty of reviews coming in the near future. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video, and I will catch you on the flip side. Bye.